Hi, I'm Viv from One Little Seed, and I am here today with Mitch from Colton Computer Technologies. He's the Managing Director and he's been working with One Little Seed for about 5 years or so. So Mitch, you've been working with One Little Seed since around the time we started 5 years ago. How would you describe what we do for you as a business?
One Little Seed were and are and have been what's taken us on our marketing journey. So I approached One Little Seed and Crystal 5 years ago going, I've tried some social media stuff, I've tried some website stuff, we've tried bits and pieces. My big push for why we wanted to have our primary purpose for wanting a marketing function was to do one-to-many engagement with our existing client base, because we had an issue where we had a small group of clients that engaged with us really well and they got a lot of value and we engaged back very well with them, but there was a silent majority that didn't engage with us, and so we didn't engage with them, and we identified that in order to grow and support our clients we needed to build that function, and over time that's we started off as that, and then the happy accident was that turned into building a really good inbound marketing engine. We do a lot of event-based marketing, and when I put my sales hat on, which I do sometimes, it's really good having a massive collection of relevant blog material, because it saves me having to regurgitate the same stuff every time. I can just go, hey, we had a chat, read this, read this, read this.
Yeah, so you've got a lot of evergreen content that you can use all the time that refers to the main areas that are relevant for your business. I'm not sure how much of a happy accident it was. I feel like there was probably a little bit of strategy in there somewhere.
Probably.
Maybe from the outside.
That was definitely above my pay grade at that point in time.
No problem. And so you are obviously from a sales perspective, or you have a sales background.
I'm technical, and I refused until about probably 6 years ago to admit that I was in sales.
Whether you admitted it or not, you have been working in sales for a number of years.
Yes.
And so how do you think marketing has changed your business with that sales hat on?
It's really driven it. And in our business to date, our sales function is the least mature part of our business, and I certainly have experienced it, but we see it a lot talking to other MSPs, that their sales function is usually dragging their lack of marketing function along the ground in a very awkward and painful way, whereas as we're growing our sales function, because we have a mature marketing function, it's way easier, because funnily enough, the funnel looks like that, and if you don't start at the top, there's not going to be anything at the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. And so in terms of, I know you've talked about before about how you don't know what we do, but marketing leads just rain from the sky.
I love that story.
In terms of what we're doing, because I think one of the misconceptions that people have about marketing sometimes is that you do an activity and then you get these results.
That's how it works. Like right now. I need sales next week. Marketing, go do something. Get me leads right now.
Exactly. Turn on the tap.
Yeah, that's how it works, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know if we've taught you anything in the last 5 years. So in terms of what you've seen from a consistency of messaging, I guess, to the results that you see from a lead generative perspective, do you want to talk a bit about
that journey? Yeah. So you start doing marketing, and as an MSP, certainly it's very scary, because you're throwing money into a magical pit and going, I hope something comes out one day. I hope something comes out one day. And then magically, if you do it right, and the biggest thing, and I profess this to anyone, is it's got to be consistent, and it's got to be regular. And if you do those things, it's probably 12 to 18 months, and then leads just started magically popping out of the sky. And we've talked about this before, Viv, it's really hard, especially in MSP, B2B land, to be able to track a lead to an activity or a couple of activities.
Yep.
And you even ask people, like, well, I make a point now when we get new leads come in to be like, oh, hey, where did you hear about us or whatever? And they're like, around.
Lots of places.
Yeah, exactly. Some people are like, oh no, I've seen your branding on cars, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sure that's what was the final thing that made you. But it's just having that consistency, and certainly in the early days, One Little Seed helped our leadership team really drill into our brand persona, so we could quantify that, because we knew who we were and what we were, but we couldn't define that, and it wasn't repeatable.
Sure. And consistent in the way that you're communicating it. Whereas now, you'll go along to a conference and people will comment on your consistent brand image, and they always see something, they know it's Colton.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Oh, it's lovely.
So you lucked out really, because you didn't work with any other marketing agencies, as far as I'm aware, before you started with One Little Seed.
We had a false start with a local marketing agency.
Yes.
But it was, and this was one of the tricks for young players, or traps for young players, is that there's not a lot of people, especially in regional areas, there are no B2B marketers, and all of the local agencies, and I'm not out here to bush bash, because I hate bush bashing, because people from Sydney do it better than anyone else, which isn't true. But I think there's a lot of misconceptions about agencies that are vertical aligned, or even just B2B versus B2C, and I see a lot in the market where people are like, I've just got to do social media and a website. And it's like, that's not marketing. That's like 5% of marketing function. And I think that's been the big learning curve. And yes, I did luck out finding One Little Seed.
Yes. And that's an interesting point though, because there are, and I don't think it's bush bashing, I think it's just different needs. There are some small, probably a lot of regional businesses out in Orange and Bathurst and the like, where there's a big demand for that B2C style marketing with a website and a social media presence, and that's what is required. So how is One Little Seed different then in terms of what we can offer you?
Primarily, you actually get what we do. Like the irony of owning an MSP is no one outside of the industry has a clue what an MSP is. So there's your first problem. And if no one outside of the industry knows what an MSP does, how on earth do you market that to the general business community? How do you understand that most people don't understand speeds and feeds. They don't want to know specs of things, and taking a very complex industry and turning it into something that is relevant and on brand for consumption by clients.
Definitely. And then more recently, I think we've always been quite integrated with the business, but we've been quite consciously working towards away from where you were the single point of contact in the earlier days, through to a point where we're working with the wider business and liaising with the wider business. Are you seeing a change in terms of...
It's like taking us to the next level. So what Viv's referring to here is that we do EOS, so quarterly planning, and so Viv comes and sits in our quarterly offsite planning sessions. Our annual planning is an integrated part of the leadership team, and is just our CMO, and it's really good from both sides, because in that way it's not your traditional agency thing where it's you're briefing the agency, they're briefing you. It's that Viv's sitting in our leadership team giving comment and feedback on stuff that's not necessarily marketing related but is very valuable, and also saves her a whole lot of time in knowing what's going on, because you're just there all the time, and because you're there all the time, you just know.
So you're soaking up knowledge all the time, definitely. Well, and even above and beyond that, I feel like in terms of the conversations with the wider team, not even just the management team, but I know that
You
when
mean the smart ass comments in Slack when you post next month's blog post?
Yeah, sure, those. But even then, also the conversations with the techs to see what kind of questions they're getting on the phone. I mean, the smart ass comments are just a bonus, aren't they? But getting that two-way feedback and insight so that there isn't this, it helps move away from the misconception that marketing does the pretty pictures and then, the rest of us do the work. I think we're moving away from that.
It totally does, and it makes the team feel more connected to the content that's being published as well. And it's that holistic brand persona. It's just, it just ties everything together quite nicely. And I think that's something that, as we've matured, as we've gone on a journey, you don't realise at first when you start out, because it's very much like I said earlier, you start out as, I would like to buy one by marketing, please. And in exchange for buying one by marketing, I will get one by lead.
Yes.
Whereas you realise that marketing is actually an overlay, the same as a lot of other, like risk management and all that sort of stuff. It's just an overlay across the business that at some points it's one by marketing, but a lot of the time it's overall, are we doing this in the right lens? Are we looking at this the right way? Are we positioning this thing correctly? And it's also a bit of a bullshit radar for, is this thing actually something that we should be putting out because it fits with everything we do? Or is it just the fact that, someone thought it'd be easy and it might get a sale? And so it's a bit of a sanity check as well.
That's true. And I do think that, not to toot our own horn or anything, but that operational overlay or that top level oversight of all different areas of the business to not only look at the marketing message, but also to consider how it fits within the wider business from a strategic perspective. That's what marketing should be, but it's not always what marketing is.
And being a good reference of the customer voice and being a sanity check of, and this is the benefit, I'm outsourced IT, this is the benefit of outsourced marketing, is that, they're close enough, but they're still far enough away to go, no, you're looking down a rabbit hole, you're not seeing the whole picture, you need to take a step back and you need to reset.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, thinking about the 5 years, are there any things that stand... You've been in this business for 16 years. Though somebody tried to tell me the other day it was Colton's 30-year anniversary, and I was like, Mitch did not start this business when he was, 5?
3, yeah.
3.
No, not at all. I guess, I don't know, there's not, and let me tell a story here, because there's not one thing that stands out,
Sure.
But it's just a holistic good experience, and I crap on about this at nauseum, and I use the analogy that you go to a concert or a festival or an event or anything, and if you go there and the AV production is amazing, but the food's crap and the venue's mediocre, you remember the fact that, the AV was really good and the venue was mediocre and the food was awful. Whereas if you go to an event and everything's just consistent, you just walk away going, that was a great event. And that's what working with One Little Seed's like. It's just nice. I think the big success things were when KJ did the original mission, vision, values work with us. That was huge.
Definitely, and defining that.
Yeah, and defining it and getting it from this amorphous, we had good ideas, we threw them on a wall, we were like, oh yeah, that's sort of like a thing. And into a tangible, tidy little bundle. Yeah. That was a huge foundational step. I think not that any one blog is, the be all and end all, but just having that depth of consistency and regularity. And I think too, it's sort of like marketing is like a muscle, in that if you start using it all the time, it becomes way less hard to turn around and just go, oh yeah, we need to do that. It's like, oh okay, it's 50, 60% done. Happy days. We spit it out, and that makes us more adaptable to market changes and whatever else is going on. And I think it builds confidence too in what the team's doing, because they're like, oh, we feel professional and comfortable because we have nice things and nice collateral, and we're happy with our brand and we understand it and all the rest of it.
And we feel somewhat engaged because people are seeking our opinion on what topics we should talk about, or what we're being
exactly.
asked.
And I think probably the best not happy accident, but very strategic, intentional thing is, certainly in a couple of my IT communities, people, keep coming up and asking me, it's like, Mitch, your marketing's so good, how do we do it? And I just say consistency, and then I go, one little seed helps a lot too.
Just as an afterthought.
Yeah. No, it's 90% me, it's 10% agency. Totally.
I'm very consistent though.
Yeah, you are consistent, I'm not.
What about, just thinking back, I'm trying to think of some of the milestone kind of moments since I've been on board. Maybe we could have a chat through the transition from being not project-based, but the transition.
Yeah. That was good.
That was good. I feel like that
good.
was good. That, to me, that stands out as a bit of a milestone moment. And that was a big change.
I actually get a whole lot of kudos from a lot of people about. So the journey we went on was, we were an MSP, but we still did a bucket load of break fix.
Yep.
And so, coinciding when Microsoft moved to NCE from CSP, because Microsoft acronym MSP, it's great. We used that as
change their licensing.
Yeah,
let's just say that. Yeah.
That doesn't sound nearly as good.
Sorry.
I'm sure Microsoft's marketing department didn't get enough money to just say that. They had to put spin on it. But what happened was, we, over the space of 18 months, made a conscious decision that we were going to go 100% managed services, and the thing that made us really successful about that was having a proper plan, and not just like, oh yeah, let's do this, oh that didn't go well, oh okay, let's try this. It was, okay, we're here now, we want to get here, these are all the steps we've got to do, this is all the comms we've got to do, and that was emails, that was wording up all these staff internally. We did some video stuff as well. Like, it was a concerted, consistent effort that was heavily underpinned by the marketing function to make that successful. And like, the end result now is we're 98.5% managed services.
Yeah,
which is close enough to 100% to be 100%.
I think it does come down to communicate. I feel like that's such an important part, internally and externally, right?
It is, and I think that's something a lot of SMEs and MSPs fall into that category. So they don't understand marketing includes comms, because it's like, oh, hi Viv, marketing's here, but technically it's like, it's marketing and comms.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Well, and you don't want to have marketing singing from one songbook and then everyone internally, giving another message. So if you're not aligning in terms of what the internal people are doing and what you're saying externally, then it's a red hot mess.
And we see that a lot in our industry, is that you see the corporate, head office marketing stuff comes out, and then you go and meet a sales rep from the vendor, and you're like, oh, that was that, and that was that.
And they're two very different things.
Yeah, and it's a big turn-off, and I think that's probably one of the things that's served us so well, is that when leads do magically fall out of the sky, they already feel like they know us, they understand what we're about, how we want to do business and engage.
We've also been working to do some co-branded events. In fact, we've done a lot of quite successful events recently.
Well, post COVID and back into to normal life, it's event-based marketing for us works amazingly well. We have a couple of strategic partners. We run small exec lunches. We've started doing a bit of a podcast, vodcast webinar thing.
Fireside chat, perhaps.
Yeah, I hate the term.
I know you do. That's why I said it.
But yeah, we do a lot of event-based marketing, and we've had great success with that. It's a really good way for us to build our thought leadership, connect, and really, like we said before, no one knows what MSP is outside of MSP. So getting to talk to prospects and existing clients about risk and complex issues, and breaking it down and making it not confrontational, and that's worked really well.
Yeah, it was one of the things we were chatting about the other day, actually, about the fact that the best marketing doesn't actually involve talking about yourself at all. It's actually just giving really valuable information out to what is your target audience, but they can go away and they feel like they've taken something of value away from that conversation, whether or not they engage with you.
Yeah, and I think, you know, one of the big things for us is, and with the regional focus, is that, you know, it doesn't matter if someone, you know, could be target client, could just be another business. It doesn't matter if I never see a dollar from them. If I can improve their security posture and their IT awareness, that's actually benefiting my clients. Because it's all a very close intertwined supply chain.
Definitely.
And that's, you know, and you get some nice warm and fuzzies out of that too.
That's nice. And that cybersecurity education piece has been a really big focus for us.
And it is, and it's an ongoing thing, and it's not going away. But people, you know, you need to engage with people, you know, where they're at. And so that's why you need to be doing, you know, video content. You've got to be doing email stuff, you need to be doing events, you need to be doing a whole lot of different things because different people engage in different ways. And if you're only relying on social media, you're not going to get there.
Particularly if you're on Instagram and you're a business-to-business client and you're hoping that everyone, you know, those put the content out and they will come.
Yeah, exactly.
But it doesn't always work.